Hey everyone, although it is July and 100 degrees outside, we're going to create the perfect fall look today. Why? Because we are going to take a look at the Yves Saint Laurent. This is number 200, one of their new quads. I'm going to have all 6 of the quads that I currently have swatched and up on Instagram very soon, so you can see the differences between each one. But while I was swatching this one, I realized it was just like a great fall quad. Now, you can wear any color story any time of the year that you want, but as I was looking at it, I was like, okay, this is a fall look. So we're gonna use it on the eye today so you can see it. These have been going in and out of stock at Bloomingdale's. I believe it's in stock, at least as of the time I record this. This number 200 is in stock at Bloomingdale's. Hopefully it will be in stock when this video goes up, if you're interested in purchasing it. I think it's going to be available at a lot more retailers in the coming weeks. I would say first, second week of August. It's a little hard to tell, but I heard that the second week of August, a lot more retailers would be getting it in. So hopefully you'll be able to purchase it from different vendors. To mention, I have the Laura Geller blush on. This is in Down to Earth. If you're looking for a deeper, almost rosewood blush, this is a fantastic product. I purchased these myself. Laura Geller did reach out and send me products and I did a video on that, but since then I did buy the foundation in porcelain. I wore it in another video. The porcelain shade works perfect for me, and I've picked up a couple of the blushes, and the blushes are excellent. Very pigmented. They're not something that dries out your skin. If you have dry skin, you're worried about a powder. Like, these are great. This one is particularly pigmented and actually looks really nice on the skin and is a really good rosewood shade if you're looking for a good blush. And then the lipstick I have on is La Bouche Rouge. Now this shade, let me get the shade name. This is La Nude Monceau, and I believe it's a matte shade. La Bouche Rouge, if you're not familiar, basically you have refills, and then you have these remnant leather cases, so you can put any lipstick, lip balm in any case. They just came out with a new shade, a coral shade, which I kind of want to buy. I do not need it, but I am interested. So first I'm gonna hold this up, and then I will also put up a picture of what it looked like before I swatched it and ruined the embossing. As I mentioned, the formula in here is incredibly soft, so the embossing gets ruined pretty quickly. And these are the swatches of the color story. I have this in direct sunlight in front of a window, sunlight beaming in, all 100 degrees of it, or it feels like 100 degrees. And like I said, it's not as warm as I thought it was going to be when I first looked at it. It's actually got some coolness in it, which I thought was kind of interesting. But I think it's going to make a great, like a phenomenally good fall. That's just my take. Let's go ahead and do an eye look. I will tell you, I'm still trying out the Cle de Peau's, the new eyeshadows, and I have actually ordered 2 more. I'm going to take this light shade and start a transition. So I won't have them for a while. But I will say to you that I think if you're making decisions at this point, and again, it's going to take me, I would say, until like mid-August to really have because I'm going to get more quads and I want to try them out in different circumstances. So I really can't give you, you know, a full thought out opinion, because for me, I need to use a product for quite some time before I really say whether it's, you know, something that I would highly recommend when it comes to eyeshadows and new types of formulas. Because one of the things about the Cle de Peau, and I'm mentioning it with the Yves Saint Laurent because I'm getting a lot of questions about like which one would you buy. I really think that the Cle de Peau's are a specific intended market. Now, that's not to say that everyone can't buy them, because you can, and they're beautiful. But for the price point, because they are more expensive, these are the Yves Saint Laurent's are $68. The Cle de Peau, if you get them with the case, are $110. What you're paying for in that, in my opinion, is the skincare properties that are infused in the product, and that primer that's in there really does create a very interesting base that I don't, at least the way I'm thinking of it, I have not seen in any other product. Yes, I've seen other primers, but this is a unique primer, and it is very good. I don't know necessarily that you want that in your eyeshadow. In other words, you might not want a primer or creamy primer, but the creamy primers that are in there, they are infused with skincare. I do notice that they do create a fabulous base on the eyelid. The lasting effect of that is that it does look really smooth and really good throughout the day, even after 8 hours. However, I would say I can also get that from other primers that I've used, but this is included in the product. So it's a long way of saying I just need more time. I'm going to take this shade here, but I would tell you that if it's something you're interested in, after watching my, my initial video, I do think they're worth it. Maybe just get a refill and then try the product. And if it really works for you, then you can always buy the case separately later on. And you don't need the case. I mean, I need the case because I'm showing it to all of you. Also because if you're traveling, of course, you need the case to put it in. But, I mean, you don't need the case necessarily. I'm just taking that shade and kind of increasing the depth here of this. It's actually like, if you saw in the swatch, a little more rosy than it is warm. When you look at the quad, I think this looks almost like a burnt umber, but on the eye, it's more like a rosewood, which is why I chose this shade for my cheeks. I know that I have like more product on the outside of my eye. That's fine. I clean it up. I'm gonna clean it up later. All right, so I'm going to, if I can find my brush, I'm just going to go over this very lightly. So yeah, I just want to say, although I haven't, specifically said buy Yves Saint Laurent, buy Cle de Peau, I do think it depends on what you're looking for. And I tried to outline that in my video, but if you have questions, just let me know. Because I know, it's difficult to decide necessarily like what you want to purchase if you can't purchase them both. Which I get, because it's a lot of money. Okay, we're going to take this deep brown shade. That one. That's the green. Deep brown shade. And I'm going to just keep it out here for this look. I'm going to try to keep a part of my eye pretty neutral. It'll have some of the pink on it, but not a lot. You can see that a large part of the eyelid is got a little bit of the other shades on it, but very little. And one of the reasons I'm doing that is I want to see, when I swatched this, you can see from the swatch, it looked very light and very transparent. And I want to see if you can actually use it as a color in and of itself, or is it just really a topper? So we're going to try with my handy dandy Kolinsky brush, which picks up everything. Now, there's definitely fallout for this, but that's because I took a lot of it and I'm patting it on. Okay, so yes, you can use it as a shade. It's not going to be just a topper, but what I would tell you is it's going to be a very sheer kind of shade. It's not going to be like an opaque shimmer, which is okay. I mean, I didn't want it to be, but I do want to make sure that it has some opacity, because if it has none, if it's just shimmer, then it makes it difficult to just leave it on a bare eye, if you will. Yeah, that's beautiful. I have to say, guys, and again, I'm trying not to do a direct compare between the Yves Saint Laurent and the Cle de Peau, although I know they came out at the same time. I think they're very different products. I have to say though, every Yves Saint Laurent quad I've used, I've just been so impressed by the look. Again, it's my taste, it's my aesthetic, but I really I think they are beautiful color stories. All right, so I'm gonna take the deepest shade. I'm just gonna use that to line. Don't get me wrong though, I know there's a lot of people who do not want anything that's shimmery or, you know, glossy and all that stuff. So there's lots of, the whole great thing about makeup is that there's lots of things on the market that will appeal to different consumers, which is the whole point. We should all be able to pick something that works for us. All right, that is the final look. I'm gonna put some mascara on and then we'll talk about this quad. The perfect fall look in July. You know, I don't think it's gonna be any shock to anyone when I say I really like this quad. I've liked all of them. If I had to rank them, the 100 Store Dolls is my favorite. This might be my second favorite. There's definitely warmth in here with the gold, that yellow gold topper, and then this shade here is definitely warmer as well, but it's not too warm, and these have some coolness to them. So I actually think it's a decent neutral, but it has enough warmth to really work with my coloring. I feel like it does bring out the blue in my eyes. I think it's a great, I think it works really well with my hair. I actually really love it with this Laura Geller blush. Like I said, there's like a rosewood quality to this look. It is a little more dramatic because of the topper shade, but as you can see, that shade will work with nothing underneath because I don't have, you know, anything on parts of the lid. But you could also use it very lightly and brush it all over the look for a more just like glitter kind of look. You know, it's so hard for me to choose between the 4 that I've used so far because I like them all in and of themselves. The Babylon Roses is also beautiful. And I forgot the name of the other one. I'll put it down below. But so I've used 100, 200, 300, and 400. I was trying to go sort of, not in sequence, but, you know, use the first 400. So I don't have 500, interestingly enough. I have 600, and then I have, I think it's 900, which is that, you know, black and silver one, which I'll do as well. The blue one is available overseas. It's not available in the United States right now. I will pick it up if I can. So I'll probably pick up the 500 as well. So I really, you know, I love all the color stories. I really think it's a matter of, you know, what color story you find most attractive. And I can also say, because of the price point, which is $68, which I think is pretty reasonable, given the other price points that are out there for this market, you know, it is easier to buy more than one. Don't get me wrong, I understand $68 is still a lot of money, but when you're comparing it to, say, a Cle de Peau, which is $110 for one of them, you know, you can pick up 2 different color stories in the Yves Saint Laurent for close to the same price, especially if you get the Yves Saint Laurents on sale. They, Bloomingdale's was having a sale. I'm sure others will have sales when they go to the other retailers. I love the packaging. I think this is really beautiful. I love the, you know, the chevron, which is like their bags. They have bags that have this type of, and the YSL insignia on top. So I think they did a great job with that. The formula is really good. I have heard from some of you that you received the product with like a pan that was loose or even fell out. That is not acceptable. It shouldn't be ever acceptable. And all of the ones that I received, they are totally, I mean, there's no rattling, there's no problems with any of the pans. So that should not happen. If that does happen to you, absolutely ask for a refund. I will say the powders themselves, especially the sparklers, they are incredibly soft. So I could see them getting damaged in shipment. That I could see, but none of mine did. And like I said, I have 6 of them and I haven't had any problems. And 3 of them my husband brought back from London. So literally he shoved them in a bag and they kind of got bounced all, and they were fine. So, you know, they should last. If there's, like I said, if there's rattling or something's, then there's something wrong with the product and you shouldn't have to, you don't tolerate that. You should never tolerate that, but especially from a luxury brand. So on my rating system, again, I would say this is absolutely a buy now. The only caveat I would say is that these are at least to my understanding, part of the permanent Yves Saint Laurent collection. So there are sales. There's 20% off sales. You know, usually Saks has a 20% off or 10% off or 15% off or something. Bloomingdale's had like $15 off 150 or something like that, so it's 10% off. There should be opportunities to get these 10 to 20% off. I wouldn't say more than that. I don't think they'll be in like, I don't think the popularity of these will allow them to be around to be like at the end of the year season sales where things are like 40% off, but you never know. I'm trying to discern whether I know the blue one is, but like the black and silver one, the numbering on those are a little different, so I don't know if those are like limited edition and the rest are part of the permanent collection. I'm trying to find out. I don't have a definitive answer as of yet. So I will have, like I said, all of the 6 that I have now swatched like on my arms, and then I'll post that on Instagram. And then once I have that picture taken, I will also make sure that it's in the next Yves Saint Laurent overview video that I do. Like when I do my, you know, here's everything I've used for the last couple of weeks, here's my update, I'll make sure it's in that video as well. So I'd love to hear if you've picked any of them up, if you have a favorite color story, your thoughts on the Yves Saint Laurent versus the Cle de Peau. I really don't think it makes sense to do, to be honest, a direct head-on-head comparison because I think they're different products. But I understand considering they've come out about the same time and there are some similar color stories. So I totally get that. But yeah, love to hear your thoughts. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. And I hope to see you in another video really soon. Bye.